He's a bit like Myers and Sadako, where I think one or two of his add-ons are super fucking broken compared to everything else, but his base kit is awful.
Like it's a joke. Like his power is a fucking joke, dude. Like it does.
Versions, I think this has a lot of potential, but I'm also a little worried.
She is still being chased. Whoa! Why are we doing that? It's strange, isn't it? Oh my god! Oh my god! It's a fucking war zone! Holy shit! The whole squad's here.
That's broken.
Hello and welcome. I've been playing on the PTB and suffering through the 30-minute queues all week so that you don't have to. On the screen is a clip from a random game I played on the PTB some days ago with some really solid players that I've versed a couple of times in queues since the night dropped. I wanted to talk a bit about the night based on my experiences in the beta and provide a bit of counterweight to the current sentiment going around on Twitch. There are some aspects of the killer that definitely need addressing, and some of which are pretty clearly bugs. When it comes to the pathing of the guards, I think we've all had some instances or seen a situation where they just make an extremely odd turn and lose the survivor entirely. I'm not super concerned with those right now, as I'm confident either the pathing will get smoothed out or the other aspect of it will get fixed, which is 90% of the situations in my experience arise from the inconsistencies on whether or not the guard decides to vault or walk through a pallet. I'm pretty sure we'll get more information on whether or not they're supposed to when he drops. The biggest problem people have with the knight though is one of the easiest ways to play him is a brute force method, where you instantly drop a guard off to cut off a loop. What this leads to is pretty stale gameplay and complaints about survivors holding W to just leave the loop, like you do with Artist, which is absolutely the correct play in that scenario. There is certainly a time and a place to drop a guard instantly, and this likely isn't going away anytime soon. If there are low walls in a loop, or you have a survivor somewhat cornered where the detection is going from you or very close to you to the edge of the map, you definitely just drop a guard in place to hold that route and flesh out that angle, so you force him into either the guard or into you. However, I'm not entirely convinced that this is the optimal play in many circumstances. The more I've played the knight over the PTP, the more I saw survivors holding W around a loop before I even dropped a guard. They're just anticipating the entire loop being cut off and they're trying to leave before I can even do it. If you play the knight this way, the knight is definitely a suboptimal artist who can just simply cut off the loop with a single crow and recharge your power much faster. One tactic I started introducing was being able to chain my knight's patrol through not only the current tile I'm blocking off, but the next strongest or most likely escape option as well. For instance, if I've already been in an area, I know which sides have pallets left or which side is stronger. I send the guard over that way and force a survivor to either play into the guard in that once safer area or into the more dangerous and unsafe area of the map where I can get a mind game. If I found myself facing a survivor in a strong loop with multiple exits, for instance on Rotten Fields, the killer shack in the middle of the map, Rather than drop the guard right in the center of the shack and get nothing for the entire duration, I try to send the guard over either to the closest generator I'm concerned about, because he's going to path right back into me, or into the next like strongest loop from there, where I will just chase a survivor or leave the killer shack entirely. But how would I even know which generators are being worked on? Well, my inquisitive viewers, it's because I am currently loving the perk Surveillance on the Knight. If you're unfamiliar with Surveillance, it works as follows. The auras of all regressing generators are highlighted in white. If a survivor begins repairing a generator and the regression stops, the generator will be highlighted yellow for up to 16 seconds. Additionally, Surveillance allows you to hear survivors working on generators from 8 meters further away, an aspect of the perk which works exceptionally well when sending out a patrol. Combined with Pain Resonance, Jolt, or whatever other regression perks you like to use, and the Knight's own incredibly convenient way of damaging generators, you can keep pressure up around the map better than nearly any other killer in the game. I cannot stress enough how much value I've been able to get out of Surveillance, as the Knight himself spends next to no time at all damaging generators, and without add-ons, you can damage generators from up to 32 meters away. This does mean that the Knight plays in a much more macro-oriented style, where the skill expression is knowing where you need to be and where you're sending out your guards, and not so much in a skill expression style similar to what you see out of Wesker or Blight, where your success is purely based on how well you can use your power mid-chase. That being said, being able to use the power effectively is a huge aspect of the Knight, and one that I definitely agree with the community on when it comes to the most wanted changes. As it stands currently, if you want to use the Knight in such a way that you can surprise or counter a survivor's expected movements if you guess correctly, it's almost impossible. There are just like one too many factors, even though they're minor in their own right, standing in the way of being able to achieve this. For example, survivors can see the wisp shoot out, so they know where you're going. They can see the giant detection circle around a guard on the ground, so they just avoid it. And the power itself is either too slow or just doesn't go far enough, or maybe you just, because you cannot see the survivors while you're in wisp form, it's just too hard if you try to cut the survivors off who are just running away in front of you. If any one of these 3 problems change, in my opinion, the Knight immediately gains the ability to either mind game survivors with the guards, or just use the power in a much more fun and chase-oriented fashion. Additionally, there are just some weird issues with the guard's initial spotting of a survivor. When they first see a survivor, they yell, and then they just like float over there, and then they start chasing the survivor, and survivors can just run through the guard and just keep holding W. I do though have full faith that this aspect will be fixed before launch, or something will be introduced, like the guard will have some kind of initial speed bonus when spawned in order to catch up. So where does that leave us? All in all, the Knight is one of the most enjoyable killers I've ever played, and I know for a fact he will be my main killer when he hits live. Behavior has knocked it out of the park with the visual and sound design, and while the power is a little clunky right now, it's certainly going to improve at launch, much like Wesker, much like Blight. We ignore the twins, but there's a lot of room for a skill expression and exploration as well. My main concern is that I would like the guards to be a little bit more strong in their own respective fields. For example, when it comes to the jailer, I would love for you to be able to set a patrol path for the jailer, and he's just running around doing his thing while you're setting up another guard. If the jailer is strong patrolling, make the jailer stay out patrolling while you're sending out your other guards. The other one that I can think of is the assassin, who is supposed to be the chase-oriented guard. Currently gets outperformed by the Carnifex, who chases survivors for literally double the duration, and he is, by extension, much harder to run away from. But that's all I've got for you today, creepy people. I am super excited for the Knight, and I just wanted to spread some of that hype around with everyone else. If you want to see more, you can catch us live over at twitch.tv/creepyclub nearly every night of the week, and we have a lot more fun content on the way here on YouTube as well. But until next time, my friends, stay safe out there and keep it creepy.